I wasn't even supposed to be home that evening. If Jordan's daughter hadn't come down with a sudden fever, I would have been halfway drunk, losing at cards and laughing about nothing with him and the rest of our crew on the back patio of a rented cabin in Raleigh. We were talking about trash pickup schedules and pretending adulthood wasn't exhausting. When he called to cancel, I was disappointed, but then I figured maybe the night could still be salvaged. Maybe I'd surprise Bianca. Bring home her favorite tie from the little spot she loved, the one tucked on the corner that always smelled like lemongrass and memories. Maybe I'd act like the kind of guy she used to tease me about back when rom-coms were still her thing and we both pretended our love was simpler than it ever was. When I pulled into the driveway, the house was cloaked in shadows. Only those string lights she begged for last fall were still glowing, casting a soft yellow halo across the porch. She said they gave the deck ambience. I never really understood what she meant, but I strung them up anyway just because it made her smile. Out of habit, I parked at the curb. I didn't want to ring the bell. I didn't want to spoil the surprise. I was early. Maybe I'd sneak in, kiss her cheek, and remind her I was still trying, even if we both knew things hadn't felt right in months. But then I heard the laughter. Not the warm kind. Not the kind you remember and smile at days later. This was sharp. Mean. The kind of laughter that sounds like it belongs to people who've forgotten you exist. I stopped at the gate, frozen. One hand still clutching the plastic bag of food, the other tightening around the cold metal fence. Then her laugh cut through the others, Bianca's. Loud, unfiltered, unapologetically cruel. And then the words came, slipping through the night like a blade to the gut. His name's Royce. And he's too stupid to know I've been sleeping with Camden for years. I couldn't breathe. Camden. The name hit harder than her words. My best friend. The man who held me up at my mother's funeral, who cried beside me at her gravesite. The man who gave the toast at our wedding, who helped us pick out our first dog. Yours, she said. Which meant it started long before I ever suspected. I stayed frozen, every muscle in my body locked, unable to make sense of the pain unraveling inside me. I looked through the slats in the fence and saw her clearly, her curls bouncing as she laughed, her robe tied lazily at the waist. The same robe I gave her for Christmas, stitched with her initials. The one we bought on that trip to New Orleans the same day we picked up Juno from the shelter. And now it was just fabric. Just another thing they had touched, ruined, defiled. I backed away slowly, the gravel underfoot crunching louder than I expected. My keys slipped from my hand. My fingers were trembling when I finally opened the car door. I didn't go inside. I couldn't. I knew if I did, I'd lose whatever shred of control I had left. So I climbed into the car, set the food down, and stared at the dashboard. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't throw the food or punch the steering wheel. I just sat there, still empty, listening to the last echoes of their laughter bleeding through the walls of the house I once called home. Eventually I started driving. No direction. Just away. Past shuttered gas stations, closed shops, dark schools. I ended up in the parking lot of a 24-hour grocery store, the kind with flickering lights and ghost town silence. I shut off the engine and leaned back, letting the weight of what I'd just heard press against my chest like cement. Yours, she said. That meant while I was holding her hand through my mother's chemo treatments, she was slipping out of mine and into his. It meant the night she left our anniversary dinner early, she wasn't working late, she was lying beside him. It meant when I grieved the death of my grandfather, she was nowhere near grief. She was with Camden. This wasn't just infidelity. This was emotional grand larceny. My phone buzzed. A text from Bianca. Asterisk, hope you're having fun with the boys. I love you. Asterisk. I didn't reply. I didn't even curse. I just stared at those words, watching them burn holes in my screen. The fury inside me twisted, dark and violent. I wanted to go to Camden's house. I wanted to make him bleed. I wanted to take back every moment I'd given to people who had been draining me for years. But I didn't, because I knew how that story ends. The hurt husband is always the villain. The broken man becomes the threat. So instead I called Jordan. He picked up, his voice thick with sleep. You all right? She's been sleeping with Camden, I whispered. He didn't speak at first. Then softly, don't go back. You're not in the right place for that. He was right. I looked at my own reflection in the rearview mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. I drove again aimlessly. Stoplights cast red shadows across the windshield. My fingers twitched against the wheel like they were searching for something to hold onto. And still I didn't cry. I returned to the same grocery store parking lot. The silence settled around me like a storm cloud. I sat doing the math I didn't want to do. Replaying every excuse, every lie, every time she turned away. Every I'm too tired, every work meeting, Every late call. All of it fake. Then another message, asterisk thinking of you. Send pics, asterisk, delete. Then Jordan again, you okay? Finally I replied, need a place to crash tonight. His answer came fast, asterisk come on. I'll wait up, asterisk. When I got there he was already standing at the door. Porch light on. Phone in hand. He didn't say a word, just opened his arms and held me. A blanket of truth wrapped around me, forcing me to feel what I hadn't wanted to. I didn't fall to my knees like in the movies. I didn't scream or sob. I just let the tears come, slow and quiet, sliding down my face like they were ashamed to be seen. He handed me a glass of whiskey. Sat across from me while his dog curled up at my feet, like even it could sense I needed something real near me. Eventually I spoke. She used my name as a joke. Said it like it was nothing. Said they've been at it for years. Jordan nodded slowly. His face set in stone. You're staying here, he said. And that was all. No questions. No analysis. Just the safety of silence letting me begin to grieve everything I lost, and everything I never really had.